Okay. Hey everyone, today here. So I'm recording this really late at night, and by that I mean bro. I'm gonna make this short and quick because certain simple. Let us continue. John placed Jacques' remains on his desk and unwrapped his jacket, moving painstakingly slowly as to not alter the position of wires and gears more than they already had been. When he finally finished, he put on his jacket without seeming to realize what he was doing. Those jackets were more like their second skins, it seemed. As John paused, like I said, someone's being rude.
Because I'm trying to go to sleep and you're recording.
As John paused to survey the damage, I peered over his shoulder at the tangled mess. Jacques' head and claws were still visible, sort of. Some of his feathers were burned off, along with chips of the internal wing. Wires were cut and edges burned and blunted. Something that looked like a microchip had a dent in it. One of his wings was completely detached from his body. John turned to me and I hesitantly shook my head. I don't really know anything about robotics. John wiped his face with his hands, pushing his skin up towards his hairline. I know a bit, but not enough to fix this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Where did you buy him? You could probably take him back and they could fix it. Jacques was made by a monk who lives in a technological empire on mountaintop on a mountaintop in Tibet. Or at least he did. He's dead now. I still get updates through that guy's grandchildren. They've updated They update the operating system for him, because it was easier to figure out than how some old man managed to make both a fully functional AI and robotic bird shell and stick the two together. I see. What were we gonna do? It was a question I didn't need to ask. John's head was slowly shaking once again. Some kind of compulsive movement he must not even realize was happening. He didn't even say anything. I never lost a pet. My father and I couldn't afford pets, not in his salary alone. But I knew a lot about grief, the echoing pain of a sudden absence, the absence of someone who was always there for you, the sudden feeling of living in a world with no safe harbor, in a world where only you could look after yourself. I laid a hand on John's shoulder. Do you want to be alone? The edges of John's lips raised with what must have counted as a smile, given the circumstances. Thank you, Hannah. He sat down on his desk chair and became still as a rock. Before I left, I grabbed a blanket sitting on what I assumed was John's bunk, and draped it around his shoulders. I had a feeling he'd be like that for a while. As I approached the door, John stirred from his reverie. Please don't tell anyone about this, Hannah. Please. I nodded. He turned back to his desk. I crept out of the room, shutting the door gently behind me. PBG would come back from practice eventually, and you would find John there. PBG had a very calming personality. He'd be able to handle things. He'd be able to help a little. At least to keep watch over John. I wish there was more I could do. It wasn't until I was on my walk home that the full impact of what happened hit me. I was so caught up in helping John overcome his shock that I forgot that I too knew and cared for Jacques. Not as much as John, no way, but I'd grown fond of the little bird's snark. He's not going to sass me ever again, is he? Hot tears rolled down my cheeks. I wiped my face and doubled my pace. Like John, I didn't want people to see me cry. Of course, there was no way I could avoid not when I lived with her. I opened the door to my room, and as soon as I saw the flickering movement of Mai's gold sweater, I ducked my head.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Hannah, how'd the whole tree thing go? Good. I turned away, setting my bag on the floor next to my desk. Then I stood and stared at it. I hadn't really thought past getting to my room. I was just trying to get to it so that I wouldn't explode in front of everyone, so I had some place to process things. And I was here, and it was all I could do was hold myself together, planning the next step had fallen to the wayside. Spicy. Anna, are you alright? You don't look too good. I swallowed. Yeah, standing around like a zombie wasn't a good way to get people not to worry about you. I attempted a bright smile. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? My chin wobbled in the middle of my reply, and the look on my face told me she didn't trust me as far as she could throw a semi-truck. Oof. Come here. I sat down on my bed and patted the space next to her. I glanced from her to the door. If I wanted to, I could run to the bathroom. If I did, my stall would definitely be empty. I could cry by myself in peace. I would still know something happened. I would still know something happened. But at least we wouldn't have to deal with it, with the awkwardness that was someone crying in front of you and not knowing how to comfort them. I followed my gaze to the door, then slapped the bed. Sit. I obediently sat down next to her. She turned to face me full on, and the presence of her big, empathetic eyes staring at me was uncomfortable. I grabbed Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny had always been there for me in times like these. He was the only one who saw me cry about things like this. I buried my face into his soft fur. Tell me what's wrong, Hana. You can't always keep things to yourself. You already do that way too much. I do not. My voice was muffled by Mr. Bunny's fur. Maya just chuckled. Sure you don't. Because I can't hear you crying in your bed on bad nights. Immediately, heat sprung to my face. Had I woken her? How many times has she heard me? Why hasn't she said anything? I rubbed my hands together, shaking my head. Maya stared at me patiently, like a Buddhist monk in meditation. I sighed. Then another thought occurred to me. Sad as it was about Jock's passing, John was even more upset. Or more upset. Asked me not to tell anyone, so what was I supposed to do? It might be nice to tell Mai, but it's not really any of my business. It must be if you're heaving sighs like that. She wrapped an arm around my back, resting on the words. Escape from my mouth, please. Resting her head on my shoulders. Come on, Hana. Lay it on me. The old Meisters. That is a weird way to say that. She nuzzled her head into my shoulder, and my heart squeezed. Well, I ran into John today in the theater. When I went to look for him, and at first it looked like nobody was there, but I heard a noise, and I found him crouched in the corner, and I auditioned for the role, but I didn't do as well as he thought I would. Now I might not get the part. I winced as the lie slipped through my mouth. I didn't deserve dishonesty from me. At the same time, John was a private person. He didn't trust easily, and this was very clearly a private matter. One that didn't belong with the rest of the gossip that sped daily between classroom doors. It wasn't necessarily that I thought Maya would tell people if she knew, but the potential harm was far, far too great for me to cave in a moment of weakness. Even if I was sad, even if I was grieving again, even if I could use some comfort. Aw, Hannah.
What a jerk!
Man, what is up with that kid? He's always so rude. He spent all this time telling you were perfect for the part, and now he's going back on his word? Don't worry, Hannah. You're still the best tree in my eyes. We both know what matters most. No, Jacques, I think, exploded. Because, like, his wings were, like, messed up. One of them was detached. There were burn markings. Yeah. Oh, and his head came off. It's a robot bird. He's, like, 100% robot. Sorry that you're sad, though. I do hope you end up feeling better soon. Life's too short to spend it worrying about some dumb boy. Tears once again filled my eyes, and I patted Mai's arm. Thank you, Mai. Thank you. I eagerly awaited John's arrival the next day. Images of his distraught form alone in his room having plagued me all night. Even though he needed time alone. He was grateful I let him. I still felt like I abandoned him when he needed me most. I had Mai help me when I was down. At best, I left John with PBG, but if he didn't tell PBG anything, I just left him to suffer alone. I twiddled my thumbs by my desk, turning every time I heard the door open. No. No. Not him either. But PBG and John were roommates, so shouldn't John be with him? Jeez, Hana, you're gonna get whiplashed the way you're whirling around like that. You sure you're alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Everything is fine. Yet again, I knew better. But she didn't want to press the issue. Apparently not after last night. I didn't want to talk. She wasn't gonna make me. Not while we were in class, at least. When the warning bell played, I finally got up and crossed to PBG's desk. I needed answers.
PBG.
Oh, hey PBG.
Hey.
Hana, what brings you to this side of the room? Well, did PBG not know? I need to talk to you about John. I need to talk to John about something, but he isn't here yet. Oh yeah, he wasn't feeling well this morning. He said he was just gonna stay in bed all day. Pursed his lips. John's been acting really weird since yesterday, though that morning he was fine. I mean, you saw him. But when I got back from practice yesterday, he was in bed. He didn't even want to eat. That's how bad he felt. But he wasn't coughing or anything. I hope he's not depressed. Yeah, I hope not too. He tried to smile or do something not to raise suspicion, but PBG cocked an eyebrow at me. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this, do you? Wow, she just like left. Oh wow, rude. Me? John made me promise not to tell anybody, and I wanted to remain faithful to that promise. Well, apparently, since someone smaller than an ant is giving me angry messages to go to sleep, I guess I apparently have to now. So thank you. I always record in the morning.
At least go back to
Again, someone smaller than an ant wants me to go to sleep, and I accidentally continued on with the dialogue, so maybe I should just save it here. You always make death threats in your sleep, Nikki, let's be honest. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please fucking punch the subscribe button and grady the like button. I would yell like I usually do, but then someone who is smaller than a molecule and, well, the person who popped me out would probably slit my throat and then sell it to Indonesian scammers on the internet. Made you laugh. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. This has been Nick.